Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the President's procession.
Welcome everybody to this very happy day in the college's calendar. And I think we ought to begin with a round of applause for the fanfare. So welcome to all of you, and a particular welcome to Sir John for his first congregation. It's wonderful to have you with us. And how lovely it is to have one of our own in that role. It is lovely to succeed such a distinguished artist in Sir Willard with a wonderful artist as Sir John and a product of this college. Fantastic. This is a day of great celebration, and it's celebrating, most importantly, your individual successes, which together make up the collective success of the college. And it's also a time to celebrate the contributions that a number of individuals have made to the college and to music in general. So it's always a wonderful occasion, and I hope you enjoy it. I would like to say, on behalf of the Board of Governors, a tremendous thank you to everyone who works in the college, the people who teach, the people who support the teaching. It's tremendous dedication that you all show. And we are immensely grateful to have such a talented group of people to support our students and to support our students in so many different ways, not just through teaching, but through the whole running of the college. And we are hugely grateful to everyone. And I'd also like to thank all of you who are students, because you are what makes this college such a special place to be. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to today's Congregation of Awards. Our annual congregation is where we celebrate the achievement of our students and thank them for the contribution they have made to the life of the college. It is our opportunity to thank you, their parents, families and friends, for the support you have given over so many years, and also to pay tribute to colleagues here at the RNCM who work so tirelessly on behalf of our students. I'm delighted that today we welcome our eminent alumnus, Sir John Tomlinson, to his first congregation as the new president of the college. As one of the leading and most highly respected singers of his generation, there could be no more powerful role model for our students. We look forward to working closely with Sir John and benefiting from his wisdom and guidance over the years to come. Each year, we are proud to confer fellowships and honorary memberships of the RNCM on people who have made an invaluable contribution to the professional world of music and to the work of the college. It gives us great pleasure to be conferring honorary membership on a number of individuals today, and, whilst they are unfortunately unable to attend this ceremony, to be awarding fellowships of the college to pianist Jean-F. Lambavuzet, violinist Henning Kragerud, and conductor Vasily Petrenko. We are very pleased indeed to be able to recognise their work in this way, and we welcome them all warmly to the extended RNCM family. It is, though, with much sadness that we note today the passing of the founding principal and companion of the RNCM, Sir John Mandrell, who died in October this year. Sir John's legacy to this institution is extraordinary. His ambition to establish the first conservatoire in the UK, where students would receive a real-world experience situated in a public-facing performance environment, was well ahead of its time and has been a major factor in the success enjoyed by so many of our alumni over the years. Similarly, his forward-looking commitment to entrepreneurship, which has now become a fundamental part of the education and training we provide for our students, and is promoted through the prize we award annually in his name. The RNCM owes a great debt of gratitude to Sir John for his foresight and his selfless dedication to the college. He will be much missed. Today, however, is first and foremost about our graduates. For those of you receiving your awards, it marks the end of a chapter in your lives, but also the beginning of the next exciting stage of your musical journeys. Whether you are continuing your studies at postgraduate level or have already embarked upon your careers, I'm confident that your commitment and hard work will stand you in good stead. In what has been another extraordinary year, the RNCM is proud to be the only conservatoire outside London to be recognised by the Higher Education Funding Council for England as world class. We are also celebrating a Gold Award in the Teaching Excellence Framework and our position as the leading UK conservatoire for both graduate employability and research. Powerful indicators of the external profile and reputation of the college today. This matters to you, our graduates, as where you studied remains on your CVs for life. Rightly or wrongly, it can influence how others perceive you as you take your first steps into the profession. I'm confident that all of you graduating today will benefit from the esteem within which the RNCM is now held in the UK and overseas, and that this will put you in the strongest possible position for your future success. We are very proud that graduates from the RNCM go on to establish high-profile careers across the music industry, nationally and internationally, working as performers, composers, music educators, and artistic leaders. 100% of our graduates from the last 2 years were in employment or further study within 6 months of leaving the college, which is an important indicator of our ability to prepare our students for the challenges that lie ahead. I'm confident that those of you graduating today will follow in their footsteps. You are about to join our global network of alumni, and wherever your careers may take you, you will find friends and allies who studied here. When I speak to former students, it is obvious that the college occupies a very special place in their hearts. I hope it will in yours too. You leave the RNCM with the power to realise your dreams and to ensure music remains relevant for future generations. I know you will use this power wisely. supporting and inspiring young musicians who are no longer able to access high-quality music tuition through their schools, drawing on your creativity and imagination to develop and engage with new audiences, and reaching out through music to change the lives of those in society less fortunate than yourselves. At a time when studying at a top conservatoire like the RNCM entails a major personal financial investment, our aspiration is to ensure that every deserving young musician like you will be able to study here, irrespective of their background or financial circumstances. Also, that we can continue to provide a world-class education and training experience for our students that will equip them for their future careers in music. Sadly, to fulfill these goals, we're increasingly reliant on the help of private benefactors, trusts and foundations, and the generosity of our extended RNCM family. I hope that some of you here today might consider helping us in the future, perhaps by making a donation to the college, joining the Principal's Circle, or simply spreading the word. If you feel able to support us in any way, we will be only too happy to hear from you. You will be playing a critical role in sustaining the pipeline of musical talent for the years ahead. To conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you receiving awards today. To our new president and honorary members, I welcome you warmly into the RNCM family. To our graduates, as alumni of the RNCM, you will always be very welcome here. Do please keep in touch and send us your news. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to work with you in your time at the RNCM. As you take your next steps in the music profession, wherever in the world this may be, we will be following your progress with much interest and wishing you every success and happiness for the future. Thank you. President, on behalf of the college, I now invite presentations of persons who have rendered distinguished service and who are deemed worthy to be admitted as honorary members of this college.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present Jonathan Groves for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music. Jonathan is, and has been for decades, one of the most respected and successful artist managers in the world, jointly at the helm of the renowned agency Ingpen & Williams. This year, after more than 40 years, he has, as he puts it, downsized, after the retirement of his business partner, David Siegel, to become managing director of his own company, Groves Artists. Jonathan has a long association with the RNCM, and his awareness of the college started at a young age. He is the son of one of the greatest British conductors of the 20th century, Sir Charles Groves, and those of you in the audience will certainly know the name, if only perhaps if you spent the first year of your student life here in Manchester in our Sir Charles Groves Halls of Residence here on the RNCM campus. Sir Charles was recognised as very much encouraging contemporary composers and young conductors. He was instrumental in Sir John Mandeville being appointed here as the first principal of the college and chaired our Board of Governors, then called the Council, for some 15 years. He conducted one of our first opera productions here at the RNCM, A Midsummer Night's Dream, which was subsequently toured to Sadler's Wells in London. Jonathan's parents met here in Manchester at the BBC. Jonathan was born in Poole, Dorset, and lived there until the age of 10. His father was the chief conductor of the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, and subsequently in Cardiff. His father became musical director of Welsh National Opera, and then for 10 years in Liverpool. this time the RLPO. His awareness of the challenges of a roving musician must surely have been informed by his early life. He auditioned and was accepted into the choir of King's College, Cambridge, as a treble, and became a boarding chorister there from the age of 8. The choir was then directed by the distinguished musician Sir David Wilcox. Many of his fellow choristers became professional musicians: Roy Goodman, Andrew Mariner, Richard Stewart, Michael George, and the choral scholars included some of the original members of the King's Singers: Simon Carrington, Alistair Hume, Brian Kay. After his time in the choir, and from the age of 13, Jonathan became a pupil at the King's School, Canterbury. The school was at that time under the stewardship of the headmaster Edward Wright, a hugely inspirational man and one of the most distinguished choir masters in the country. Again, many of Jonathan's fellow students went on to become professional musicians. Jonathan then returned to Cambridge, to Trinity, to read history. He admits that he spent most of his time playing the cello and as president of the University Music Club. A chance meeting at a dinner with the rather legendary artist, manager, and author Howard Hartog brought Jonathan an invitation to join Ingpen and Williams, where his future business partner, David Siegel, had already been an associate for some 18 months. Thus began a trio management team which would last until Hartog's death in 1990, and the company passed to Jonathan and David. Ingpen and Williams was founded in 1946 by the rather splendid, talented, and somewhat intimidating Joan Ingpen and her dog, Williams. I need to tell you at this time that Williams was a sausage dog. The company was proud to represent many of the leading artists of the time and to sustain an ethos of trust and integrity, a reputation for which they have always been known. It might be simple for me to give you a list of the artists to illustrate the considerable respect and great affection in which Jonathan is held. He describes himself as one of the backroom boys, and in the statement for his new company, Jonathan says, "Our commitment is to provide the long-term stability and continuity of professional partnership which will allow our artists to produce their best work." I have asked him to please select a few artists. They include, and have included, Sir Edward Downes, Sir Mark Elder, Alfred Brendel, Dame Joan Sutherland, Sir Donald McIntyre, and Yvonne Minton, and Elizabeth Söderström, for whom he says, "I learned more than anyone else." After a lifetime of attending operas, concerts, and recitals several times a week, he has chosen some highlights. Carlos Kleiber conducting Otello at the Royal Opera House, Elizabeth Söderström singing Emilia Marti in the Macropolis case for Welsh National Opera, Mark Elder conducting Parsifal at the Proms with the Halle, and hearing my first ring in the Charot production in Bayreuth, conducted by Pierre Boulez and with Donald McIntyre as Wotan. When I asked him what he was most proud of, he said, "Oh, with my wife, bringing up 3 children who seem happily to be finding their way, and helping artists with their long careers. Here one has a measure of the man." Jonathan also represents distinguished RNCM alumni, including our current International Chair of Opera, Graham Vick, Sian Edwards, Andrew Gourlay, Gwyn Howell, Joan Rogers, Andrew Shaw, Paul Nylon, one of our most recent alumni, Katherine Rudd. He has been a distinguished and dedicated member of our Board of Governors for the last 9 years and has attended many performances here. I know that our principal, Linda, and Chairman of Governors, Nick, and all the members of the board would wish me to say a public thank you on behalf of all of us for such commitment, long-lasting and sincerely generous support of the college. His goals, this was a matter of this is your life, Jonathan Groves, do as well as I can and carry on as now. At the risk of being impertinent, it may be said that some artist agents are viewed with a skepticism similar to that with which we view estate agents. May I venture to suggest that with regard to the declared intent of Ingpen and Williams to conduct their business with an ethos of trust and integrity, Jonathan has upheld that ethos in spades. Mr. President, I am delighted to present Jonathan Groves for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present Mrs. Carol Nash, OBE, for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music. Carol Nash is a businesswoman, a philanthropist, a music lover, a Manchester City fan, and perhaps unusually for this ceremony, a heroine of the British motorcycling community. Her name is already celebrated in the college in the Carol Nash recital room, which she endowed, and she richly deserves to be saluted by this gathering today, both for her generosity and for her personal example of enterprise and commitment. In 1985, Carol was made redundant from a job in the insurance world. She used her £2,500 redundancy cheque to found her own firm, Carol Nash Insurance Consultants, from her family home in Timperley, running a business on the kitchen table whilst raising a young family with her husband, Fred. Carol had spotted a gap in the insurance market. She set up the business to provide insurance to owners of vintage motorbikes, eventually expanding to cover all kinds of bikes. In consequence, she's cheered and welcomed like royalty at any biker event she attends today. Carol grew that business for 20 years, and when she sold it in 2006, it had close to 250,000 customers. She then began her next career as a philanthropist and has helped countless charitable causes since then, largely centred around young people and the arts. Besides our own Carol Nash room, she has a room named in her honour at Cheetham School of Music. She's also supported the Lowry, the Halle, Manchester Cathedral, the Prince's Trust, the Children Adventure Farm Trust, Outward Bound, as well as being a patron of the Alderley Edge Music Festival and Bowden Music Festival. Her philanthropy was recognised by the award of an OBE in 2012, although news of it very nearly didn't reach her after Carol at first mistook the On Her Majesty's Service envelope for a parking ticket. Over the last 10 years, I have come to know Carol well, and I've had the pleasure of her company at countless dinners, concerts, and fundraisers. I know she is absolutely passionate and committed to the charities that she supports, giving time, effort, and energy, as well as financial donations. In a world where public funding is continually shrinking, an institution such as ours relies on supporters such as Carol to maintain our position as a world-leading conservatoire. So we're very fortunate that Carol loves music as she does, having been raised in a musical family. Carol's great-grandfather was a bandmaster and her grandmother a professional pianist who accompanied silent films. Carol's lifelong connection to music began with a childhood memory of watching her grandmother's fingers on the keyboard. Carol's daughter Jane and her son-in-law Andrew are music teachers, and Carol enjoys watching her grandchildren in school concerts. Indeed, she hopes one day one of them may come to the RNCM. It's this connection to music that's already made Carol a member of the wider RNCM family, and it's a joy for those of us who have worked with her to be able to celebrate that membership more formally today. Carol also told me, by the way, that when she used to visit her daughter Jane at university, her smart appearance in business suits earned her the nickname Hyacinth Bucket from Jane and her friends. So I know it gives Carol particular delight to receive her award alongside Dame Patricia Routledge. Mr. President, I am delighted to present Carol Nash for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, our first in performance studies, with the thesis title of Tanyeyev's Influence on Practice and Performance Strategies in Early 20th Century Russian Polyphonic Music, Olga Paley.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I present for the degree of Master of Music in Composition, Nathaniel Chivers. Laura Nadal. Nevada Rose Summerly. Sue Han. And for the degree of Master of Music in Performance, Saleh Al-Mukhaini. James Berry. Timothy Andrew Bingham. Amy Bowles. Alice Ruby Braithwaite. Rupert Clarence Brown. Lily Elizabeth Cont. Bernadette Eliska Childs. William Patrick Mulholland Curran. Kun Deng. Aidan Michael Palmer Edwards. Fiona Finsbury. Louise Eleanor Franks. Thomas James Fripp. Daria Fussel. Brooks Griffith. Samuel Hersign. Joshua Hall. Sung-Ming Lau. Pakwai Lee. Chunyin Leung. Hector Waihang Leung. Katie Joy Lewis. Liu Feng Tong. Liu Lixin. Alexandra Lowe. Joe Luckin. Heather McLeod. Daniel James McLaughlin. Juliet Mary Montgomery. Matthew Robin Palfreman. Lee J. Fan. Henry Rankin. Kimberly Ann Raw. Catherine Helen Rigby. Hughes Basile Roberts. Haijin Ryu. Jeremy Salter. Ruth Sanderson. Isabel Scott. Daniela Sicari. Sophie Alessandra Smith. Michael Taylor. Ellis Thompson. James Stephen Tradgett. Helen Louise Varley. Yulia Vershenina. Nicholas Waldock. Isabel Williamson. Laurent Zuffray. And for the degree of Master of Performance, Durbibi Al-Balushi. Ilham Al-Toki. Li Yan. Vong Sin Duan. Zhuo Mei Hui. And for the postgraduate diploma in advanced studies in musical performance, Rachel Elizabeth Fright. President, that concludes the presentation of postgraduate awards. The names of those graduating in absentia are listed in the programme.
President, on behalf of the College, I now invite presentations of persons who have rendered distinguished service and who are deemed worthy to be admitted as honorary members of this College.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present Dame Patricia Routledge for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music. Patricia Routledge was born and educated in Birkenhead, Cheshire, where a lively school music and drama department laid the foundations for her subsequent career. She was taught to sing locally by a lady called Elizabeth Slee, and as a certain Leonard Bernstein was later to remark, she did a very good job. But despite an obvious musical talent, she read English at Liverpool University. Joining the university's Dramatic Society, she worked closely with an academic called Edmund College, who persuaded her to pursue an acting career. For a year after graduation, she was torn, music or theatre. In the end, she contrived very successfully to do both. She trained at the Bristol Old Vic, and her first professional job was at the Liverpool Playhouse. But she also studied with Walter Gruner, head of leader at the Guildhall School of Music. Soon in demand, she turned down offers from D'Oyly Carte and from Sadler's Wells, opting instead for the musicals of the West End and Broadway. A Tony Award for her part as Alice Chalice in Darling of the Day, an Olivier Award for her role in Leonard Bernstein's Candide, and another Olivier for Best Actress in a Supporting Role and in A Nightingale Sang. All of this suggests she made the right decision. But when I asked her what had given her her greatest pleasure, the answer was somewhat surprising. She replied, well, actually, it was a little-known disaster. That's her description. And it was called 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It opened on a Tuesday, and it was closed by the following Saturday. But she says she wouldn't have missed it for the world. The man who wrote it, believe it or not, was none other than Leonard Bernstein. Even the greats can produce the odd disaster, it seems. But working with him, she says, was to work with a genius. And they subsequently became great friends. She was called to Buckingham Palace this year to be invested as Dame Commander for her theatrical and charity work, having already been made both an OBE and a CBE. And as Prince Charles said when he made her a dame, well, at last, somebody's noticed. And all this without any mention of that character called Hyacinth Bucket? Bouquet? Beloved is a word much used by the Blessed Hyacinth, a character which, of course, captivated and entertained a nation. But Dame Patricia's acting career, frankly, defies any typecasting. She's worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company. She had an appearance in Steptoe & Son. She played, of course, the pensioner detective Hetty Wainthropp on television. She's acted in Chekhov, in Gilbert and Sullivan, and she's been the northern voice so often in so many Alan Bennett plays and Victoria Wood's comedies. The list goes on and on. I don't do beloved roles, she tells me. I've just had a wonderfully interesting time with so many roles. I think that's an understatement. What she values above all is good music and good writing. She returned to Liverpool University to support bursaries for students of English literature under a scheme which encourages research into the therapeutic role which reading plays in human health and well-being. And Dame Patricia continues to perform on stage. Her latest show is called, very fittingly, Facing the Music. It's about her lifetime of song. After a dreadful fall recently, which resulted in 13 stitches to her head, all she could say to the paramedics as they tried to carry her off was, "But I have to go, the curtain's up at 7:30. Dripping with blood, and she literally was, she was carted off. What she didn't know was that her bitterly disappointed sellout audience, this was at the Buxton Festival, were told that actually there was another concert happening that evening. So en masse, they crossed the road, and guess where they went? They went to hear sing none other than Sir John Tomlinson, who was astonished to find this sudden influx. Yes. It was already a sellout. I don't know where they put it. So Royal Northern Music, Dame Patricia embodies all that this college holds dear. Above all, a dedication to excellence. She is an outstanding role model for everyone in this region and in this industry. And so it gives me very great pleasure to present Dame Patricia for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
President, I have the honour to present Martin van der Weyer, financial journalist, business editor and columnist with The Spectator, writer for the Daily Telegraph, Sunday Telegraph and Daily Mail, and retiring Deputy Chairman of the College's Board of Governors. Martin describes 4 careers in his lifetime: in banking, in journalism and as a financial commentator, in the performing arts, and as a hyperactive citizen of the Yorkshire town of Helmsley. He knew at 17 that he wanted to be a journalist. When interviewed at Oxford University in the early 1970s, his stated life ambition was to write for The Spectator. First, though, he followed his eminent father into banking, working for Schroders and Barclays. This was a career that he says he didn't hate, but he didn't love. In his own words, he was the 1980s caricature of a merchant banker, well-tailored, wreathed in cigar smoke, with a chauffeured Mercedes and a card that said Managing Director. 15 years were spent in, quote, the great fortress of finance before I tunneled out and turned into a writer. In 1992, Martin was sacked from his post, but within weeks he had written his first Spectator piece, The Phantom of the Gravy Train. The second career was underway, and Martin has commented with penetrating intellect, acerbic wit, passion and compassion, and with depth of insight from the pages of The Spectator on the business world, and a lot more besides, for 25 years. The Spectator's editor, Fraser Nelson, notes his ability to explain in just a few paragraphs what the business pages say in 1,000 words that no one can bring themselves to read. His third career, also ongoing, involves the performing arts. He is on the board of trustees of Opera North, and in 2007 was appointed to the Board of Governors of the RNCM. He became chairman of the Finance Committee in 2009 and deputy chairman to the board in 2010. His beloved Helmsley brings together careers 3 and 4, and amateur dramatics plays a large part in his hyperactive Yorkshire life. For Helmsley Arts Centre's 1812 Theatre Company, he has played a mixed diet of roles, has directed and written. In a Spectator piece, he described that the main weakness of amateur shows is the most elementary one of all, that the actors never learn their lines until the last week of rehearsal, if then. But he does go on, Amdram is probably the most fun you can commit without committing adultery. Suffice to say, Martin seems to have a particular affinity for the comic genre, an erstwhile ugly sister in Cinderella. That's not Massenet's Cinderella, I add for everyone's benefit. He notes that whacking dough balls into the audience with a giant wooden spoon while warbling Irving Berling's There Were Never Such Devoted Sisters in drag struck me as a lot more difficult than Pinter or Chekhov, which just require a straight face and a high threshold of boredom. His ethos, as a dedicated amateur thespian, he says, I'll try not to let serious acting get in the way of a good show. Realizing his youthful ambition to become a writer, Martin describes that, I am now what I always imagined myself to be. It is salutary then, on this special day for our graduates, to quote from the pages of The Spectator in 2013, his advice to young people. Life is not a straight line. For you, life is about chances and choices, not entitlements, about snakes and ladders and unmarked doors through which a path will eventually emerge. Get on with making your own luck. President, I am delighted to present Martin van der Weyer, financier, journalist, amateur actor and director, and committed supporter of and advocate for our college for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
Mr. President, after that rather remarkable build-up, it's my pleasure, on behalf of Dame Patricia Routledge, Carol Nash, Jonathan Groves, and myself, to thank you very warmly for the honour you have conferred on all four of us today. And, if I may, to add the congratulations of the four of us to those that have already been conveyed to all of you, today's graduates. I've been a governor here for the past 10 years, and I can say that it has been a real delight for me every time I've come into this college, into that refectory area, to sense almost physically the intense collective energy and the passion for music of the student body here. So I hope each of you takes away today very happy memories of making music and making friends, as well as a sense of achievement in your studies, and most importantly, a sense of belonging forever to one of the world's great institutions of musical learning. By the very different career paths that you've heard about, the four of us, today's honorands, have today joined with you in being inducted into this permanent family of the Royal Northern College of Music. And so we celebrate with you. We celebrate the power of music to reach across boundaries, barriers, generations, differences of all kinds, to express universal human feelings and to act as an undiluted force for good in a troubled world. So let's all be proud, through our connection to this college, to be part of that force for good. And let me add two more remarks, if I may. The first, again, on behalf of the honorands, is to salute the outstanding academic and professional staff who make this college the international beacon of excellence that it is, and from my heart, most particularly, the principal, Professor Linda Merrick, for whom I and my fellow governors have the very highest admiration, and who is, I know, because some of you have told me, a personal role model for many of you. Finally, perhaps less conventionally, but reflecting my thought about the different paths that have brought us together, I'd like to say a word about damehood. The wonderful Patricia Routledge is an authentic dame of the theatrical and musical stage and the small screen. Carol Nash, OBE, our generous benefactor, most certainly deserves to be promoted to dame in due course. My excellent board colleague and friend Jonathan Groves, we've heard that he represented Dame Joan Sutherland, no doubt a few other operatic dames in his time. And I can reveal that I am myself currently playing the dame in pantomime. And for me also, the curtain goes up at 7:30 this evening, 100 miles from here. So forgive me if I make a rather swift exit at the end of the ceremony, but think of me later singing On the Good Ship Lollipop in a particularly glorious costume, just as I shall think of all of you making music, contributing to the world of music in your different and I'm sure much more elevated ways, wherever your exciting futures take you. How lucky and blessed we all are to be part of this world of music. Mr. President, thank you again. Thank you.
President, Chairman, Principal, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. Today is a historic day. 10 years ago, the RNCM took the decision to offer students of popular music the opportunity to study in this world-class institution. The programme began as a 2-year foundation degree before developing into a 3-year Bachelor of Arts degree, and then in 2014 became the UK's first and only 4-year Bachelor of Music degree in popular music. Today, we can be confident and proud to say we have one of the best popular music degree programs in the world. And on this historic day, we celebrate the achievements of the first ever cohort of students to graduate from the RNCM's BMUS in popular music. President, it is with great personal and professional pride that on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Music with Honours in Popular Music, Joanna Brown. Matt Brown. Matt Campbell. Alex Deneen. Freddie Eggleton. Benji Fielding. Dan Harries. Brad Ingham. Barney Kimberley. Iriana Lagkuvadu. Mary McDougall. John Needham. Dan Peat. Jeremy Perez. Ali Rucroft. Zoe Sterling. Tom Stott. James Veza. Ollie Walton. Joe Wood. And George Wright.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, It gives me great pleasure and is a very great honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Music with honours, Shona Atkinson DL. Connor Baiano. Jonathan Bates. Adam Biggood. Simon Billow. Christopher Binns. Eleanor Boney. Adam Bowman. Erin Breeze. Rodri Brooks. Robert Brooks. Miriam Brown. Owen Bunting. Max Burston. William Chadwick. Stephanie Campbell. Manyi Chung. Vikintas Sivas. Bethany Davis. Atanas Dochev. Peter Edge. Madeline Fitzgerald. Theodore Fowler. Georgia Gardiner. Alice Godfrey. Charlotte Groves. Philip Dye. Lucy Hale. David Hamilton. Katherine Hansen. Vanessa Hansen-Morris. Finlay Hare. Samuel Herbert. Lucy Hoyle. Luke Holman. Jessica Hope. Ryan Hunt. Bradley Johnson. Catherine Johnston. Bradley Jones. John Yayan Jones. Leif Kena Lidstrom. Niall Kavanagh. Paula Kampf. Helen Lacey. Anna Lawton. Francesca Lech. Samuel Lovett. Lu Yingyi. Isla McEwen. Sophia Mahan. Meera Maharaj. Emma Masterson. David McCaffrey. David Maxted. Michaela Mayo. Ranald McCusker. Emma McPhillamy. Inés Mota Pino. Sarah Nicholson. Lucy Noden. Rebecca Orton. Ewan Owen. Vangelis Patsalides. James Peniston. Rebecca Perry. Alla Nicoletta Petriche. Daniel Portal. Isabel Prothero. Clémence Prudhomme. Corey Purvis. Adam Riding. Chloe Roberts. Christopher Robertson. Edward Robinson. Emma Rushworth. Elliot Samphir. Ingvild Schutzer Flory. Joseph Shaw. Jamie Smith. Dayan Song. Rachel Spears. Rebecca Stevenson. Papanin Sukimuk. Melvin Tay. David Thomas. John Uren. Lucy Vallis. Anna van der Peer. Emily Walsh. Elżbieta Was. Roy Watkins. Emma Wheeler. Lily Whitehurst. Sam Wilkes. Kaylee Zhu. Stephanie Yim. Tallulah Yonkers. And for the degree of Bachelor of Music, Callum Harrison. Lutzi Jan. And for the Diploma of Higher Education, Robert Corkish. Emma Hocknell. And for the Certificate of Higher Education, Rabin Joseph.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I present for the Graduate Diploma of the Royal Northern College of Music, Killian Donaghy. Michael Hope. President, that concludes the presentation of the undergraduate awards. The names of those graduating in absentia are listed in the programme.
Hi everyone. My name is Theo, and I'm this year's Students' Union President. It is an incredible honour and privilege to be able to speak to you all today. But like many performances I've done over the past 4 years, I've been imagining the worst possible case scenarios for how this speech is going to go. And like most of my academic work, I confess that that still didn't stop me from leaving it until the very last possible minute to actually get it done. So please bear with me. I wasn't sure whether opening this speech in this way would be appropriate, but then I thought it's probably something to which many of us in this hall might relate. Yes, it's true, we've all had some incredible experiences performing or perhaps having our compositions performed in this very room, but so much of the experiences that have made us into the people we are today weren't on the curriculum. Think back to when we were all first eager, nervous and excited to meet each other, making awkward small talk about probably music. Marking the beginnings of our first new friendships, and for some of us, our first romantic relationships. Our talks by the orchestral office, telling us that all hell will break loose if we miss rehearsal. Being unfamiliar with the college building and getting completely lost and missing all lessons, lectures and meetings for the day. And that was last week. In all seriousness, I think it's safe to say that life at the RNCM has never been boring. Through all the long days and late nights of work, the fact that we've all made it here to graduation really is a testament to our determination as people and definitely as musicians. However, there is no such thing as a truly self-made man or woman. We are made up of thousands of others. Everyone who has ever done a kind deed for us or has spoken a word of encouragement to us has entered into the makeup of our character and our thoughts, as well as our successes. With this in mind, I would like to thank the parents of the graduating students here. Whether it was allowing us to come home and raid the fridge some weekends, coming to our rescue by transferring us that money despite not quite having paid back the previous 4 or 5 loans, or for just being there on the other end of the phone when the pressures and realities of trying to live an independent life got too much. On behalf of the student body, thank you. Since beginning my time as Student Union President, this year has opened my eyes to a lot of things about the RNCM that I never would have seen as a student here. Not least of which is the tireless work and commitment that goes into trying to ensure the best possible experience for each and every student. It really is incredible to witness, from the inside, all the staff members' passion and dedication to our well-being, and of course, developing us into the professionals that we have become today. On the basis of what I've seen, I feel like even these words are the mildest of praise in comparison to what is deserved. So, to Linda and to the rest of the RNCM staff, on behalf of the student body, thank you. I've been very fortunate to know many of you in this room, which unfortunately meant that this speech was much harder to write. I found myself thinking, what could I possibly say to all these amazing people? I can't finish by bestowing some profound wisdom because I don't think any of you need it. However, there are 2 things that come to mind that I'd like to say. Now we're entering the realities of the music industry. Let's remember that so much of the best music is made by working together. So beyond today, let's look out for each other in whatever way we can. Secondly, the fact that we're all here today means we're doing something right. So everyone, keep on being yourselves, because you're all incredible. Thank you.
The Gold Medal is the RNCM's most prestigious award, given annually to outstanding performers and composers. This year's competition was held in June and featured 10 of the college's finest performers and 4 of its leading young composers who wrote new works for piano trio. 4 winners were chosen from different disciplines, one of whom is with us today. Principal, I present the student of the Royal Northern College of Music who has been selected to receive a gold medal, Vikintas Sivas.
I think this is where it says on the programme, President's Address, which sounds very grand. I prepared a few words. When our principal turned to me at the beginning and said, Mr. President, I sort of, who is that? But I'm now, after conferring many degrees and many awards on all of you, I now feel more as if I'm in the role. It's great pleasure, great honour, privilege for me to confer these awards and to be able to congratulate each one of you on your achievement. I was born and brought up over there, about 20 miles to the north. And I first came to Manchester in the mid-60s to be an engineering student down the road at the university in the Simon Engineering Laboratories. I enjoyed engineering, but when I'd finished, I knew that I had a deeper passion, singing, music, and I was accepted as a student by the then RNCM, the Royal Manchester College of Music down at Diva Street, a worthy precursor to this great college. Those were wonderful years studying at the college. I discovered much. I learned how to really sing. I learned a lot about drama, about language, about text, about movement, about musicianship, and it was a whole new world of discovery. Now, since then, in the 40-odd years since then, my working life has been spent in rehearsal rooms and on stages of many opera houses in many countries. But you know, you never forget those early influences. You never forget that fundamental work, that basis, without which one will be nothing. Now, what comes next in this little speech I've prepared? Of course, you keep learning throughout your life. A couple of bon mots to finish. I find it's good to sing every day, sing beautifully every day, or if you're an instrumentalist, play beautifully every day. If you're a performer, it's good to conscientiously and with great discipline prepare for a performance, but perform with spontaneity in contrast. And finally, it's good to trust your intuitions, very important. But of course, always be accessible, sounds contradictory, but always be accessible to new influences. Now, we, the college, as representative of the college, I say this, we wish you, wherever life takes you, we wish you great joy and fulfillment as servants of that most generous and wonderful taskmaster, namely music. Thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone.
Well, everyone, that concludes our formal proceedings. Congratulations to you all, and please do carry on bringing your gift of music to the world. And now can I declare this congregation closed, and could you stand for the national anthem?